Welcome back to Straight Facts. The Champions League is back with us. We're delving into that today. Plus, Unai Emery, heavily linked to the job at Manchester United if Ruben Amorim does bite the bullet. We're also looking at Chelsea as they drop more points in the league. But is there a bit of a witch hunt surrounding them? Have they been unlucky, or are there problems and concerns? We're also going to take a look ahead of the Champions League with 5 English teams taking part in the tournament. Is it 5 or 6? 6. 6 English. I thought it was 5. 6 English teams in the Champions League. Action-packed week ahead. Big show to come. Joined, as you can see, by LB and Arsenal fan Dan, a.k.a. Positive Dan. How are you, gentlemen? You both well and good?
Oh, good, man. Yeah. Beat you, innit? So, life's good. Our life's better anyway. It's not,
you know what? Fucking every time I predict a Man United win, we lose. So. I'm gonna start doing it. And
yeah, match day today. So excited. Champions League. This is what it's all about. So yeah, man, I'm looking forward to Straight Facts, and then looking forward to the Arsenal game.
Well, this is the one thing that's great about this midweek run of fixtures. There's a guarantee, and I can promise you this. And if either of you two want to bet me, I'll bet you can put up £100, up 100,000. I bet I'm right. Do you want another bet?
Go on.
Agree to it first.
No, there's a game on every day, something like that.
The bet is this. I bet you 100 grand that this midweek games, Manchester United do not lose. I guarantee you we do not lose.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking forward to. Watching all you lot play. I'm actually at that point where I'm thinking, other than the United stand, where I do a few shows a week, I might stop talking Man United myself, covering the games, because it is horrible. It is painful. And look, we'll delve into that first of all. Obviously, LB, you beat us well. You beat us 3-0 at the weekend. In fairness, a lot of the City fans that came on our show afterwards were quite humble about it, in the sense of they're a bit worried about going into the game. Happy with the win, but didn't think they were particularly great, in the sense of they don't feel like they're back and like everything's all okay again. How did you see the game from a City perspective, first of all?
First 15 minutes, I thought that it was only United that actually wanted to win. I was quite surprised at how slow we got into the game. Other than Foden, I was looking around the team thinking, come on, man, like someone needs to like put a challenge in and get stuck in it. This isn't a derby match. I thought United wanted it more. But not really creating anything. And then as soon as we got the goal, which I think did probably come against the run of play, if I'm being completely honest with you, we just took control. And we were so clinical. I don't know. It was a very weird game. Yeah, I mean, I've done my match reviews, and I don't even know if we played well or not. Like, I'm still sitting here going, did we actually play well? Well, we created chances. We could have scored 6 goals. So that tells me that we probably did. But at the same time, it wasn't a typical Manchester City performance where we dominate the ball, dominate possession, passing really nice. We were quite deep at times. We were going long a lot. That's the most I've ever seen a Pep Guardiola side go long in a football match. Keeper was smacking it long. Diaz, Gvardiol, O'Reilly were all smacking it long. We were playing a very different style. So is this the beginning of a new style of play for Manchester City, where we're not trying to overplay out from the back? We're trying to be a little bit more direct with Haaland. Obviously, Haaland loved it because he was getting space in behind your defence, which he's not had space in behind opposition's defence for a very long time. So weird one. It's a weird one to get my head around, because, like I said, I don't even know if we actually played well, but we were very clinical, which I liked. Well, I say very clinical. We probably should have scored a lot more goals than we did. You had a few opportunities. Great save from Donnarumma. He looked really calm. You know, he'd only had 2 training sessions since he'd been at Manchester City, so that was nice to see. And we kept a clean sheet, which we don't really do too many times. And we've just beaten a Big Six team, a typical Big Six team, which we've struggled to do over the last 2 years. That's only our 7th win against Big Six teams in the last 22 matches. So we've really struggled against the typical Big Six. So yeah, listen, I don't know what the City fans on your shows have been saying, but yeah, I'm not saying we're back. I think it's too early to say that. These next 2 games are a big test for City. Napoli, good side, just won Serie A. Again, we've struggled against big sides, so it'll be interesting to see how we got on there. We're probably going to have to rotate some of our players as well, because we play Arsenal 2 days later at the Emirates. So yeah, these next two games are the time. I think these next two games will tell us a little bit, because the thing is, if City lose against Arsenal, yeah, and Liverpool beat Everton. I don't think that's probably the league over already. I know it's crazy to say that after 5 games, but it probably is. So, yeah, these next 2 games are massive. Obviously, it's a positive that we won. We scored a few goals, and they felt like a feel-good factor around the team as well, which was pretty nice. But I'm not ready to say we're back yet. I think it's way too soon. You know what I mean? But yeah, next 2 games called Napoli and Arsenal.
Yeah, I kind of agree. And I said on the match reaction, I didn't mention that in my own kind of sort of monologue at the beginning. And I only said it after 3 City fans back to back said very similar to you. And that was because if the United fan says it straight after the game, no one actually listens. Nobody wants to be objective. And you just get the reaction of bitter, you're salty. And it wasn't like that. I thought City deserved to win. Yes, most of our big chances and better chances came after you were 3-0 up. But that's the bit that frustrated me about United, because City normally go 2-0 up, 3-0 up, and then you don't touch the ball. Yet we did have chances. Yes, I mean, it was a half chance, the Mbumo volley that was, listen, Ederson might save it. Trafford doesn't. Most goalies don't. Not because they're bad goalies. They ain't got arms that fucking long. Like that's the 6'5" orangutan motherfucking arm that came out there that saved that. But we still had chances. I mean, Mbumo and Casemiro missed basic open goals for me as well. So, I mean, I'm intrigued by it, but I actually liked how City played, because the one thing about Pep's teams that always annoyed me is that you go 2-0 up and the other team wouldn't get a sniff. I hope this is how you play all the time, because the games are still... There was still jeopardy in the game when you were 3-0 up. And what I would have loved to have seen, forget that it's Man United, if that Mbumo goal goes in, does the confidence of City take a little knock?
Oh, the save that Donnarumma made.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. And I think there's been a lot of talk about Donnarumma coming to Manchester City, and he's not a typical Manchester City goalkeeper. He's not a typical Pep Guardiola goalkeeper. But I think that moment there for me, Terry, that was the clear sign as to why Manchester City have signed Donnarumma. If that goal goes in, and by the way, I didn't think Mbeumo had a great game, but it was a fantastic volley from Mbeumo, and it was a world-class save. If that goal goes in, right, because that was at 2-0, that's 2-1. I don't think City win the game based off the last 12 months of watching Manchester City go 1-0 up, go 2-0 up. And in the case of one particular game, we actually went 3-0 up and still didn't win. I think United come back. I think City crumble. So that moment there was the reason City have signed Donnarumma, because, before last season, City have had a great defence. Everybody saw our defence against in the treble year, right? We kept a clean sheet against Bayern Munich, slapped them up. We kept a clean sheet against Real Madrid, slapped them up. We kept a clean sheet in the final against Inter Milan, won the treble, right? But the defence then, right, was Ake, who that season was the best left back in Europe, Diaz, Stones, and Walker, right, in his prime. Obviously, in the final, he played Akanji. So, because we had such a defensive back four, we didn't need a Donnarumma-style goalkeeper. We needed a ball-playing goalkeeper, because it's better off. What's happened is, over the last 2 years, our defence has got very much weaker. As everybody always says, everyone says City's defence is shit, right? Our defence has got much weaker. So now, I think the value of having someone like an Ederson is no longer that great. I think you need somebody who's a better shot stopper, someone like a Donnarumma.
Yes.
So, listen, he will make mistakes on the ball, and, we will probably concede a couple of goals, but it's like with anything, it's a balance. And I think in that game, that demonstrated why City have gone for Donnarumma.
He's a net positive for you. And I know you and I sat here about 3 or 4 weeks running when the rumours of him to Chelsea came up and then to City. I was staggered at the people that said it was a bad signing. You can't play good football, which made no sense considering PSG played the best football. And that save, that moment there, I think Man United fans got a little glimpse of what Arsenal suffered in the Champions League semi-final, because as much as a lot of gooners say they didn't compete in that semi-final, there was 2 brilliant saves at the Emirates, and I want to say at least 3 in Paris, that I don't think 99.9% of goalkeepers make. And a lot of football fans have pushed back against this in recent years, and I often think it's to shit on clubs, managers, or players they hate. Moments are important. That moment from Donnarumma was game-defining, because I do agree with you. I think if we score at that moment, your nerves creep in a little bit. Our towels go back up. You could have another spell like the opening 15 to 20 minutes where and this is why Man United being so bad, and we'll kind of peter into that in a minute, frustrates me, is the opening 15 minutes. Maybe you remember as a City fan, I don't, as a United fan. I can't remember watching the team press Rodri into that many mistakes in the opening 15, 20 minutes of a football match. That was really good. And that's why Donnarumma, though, keep bringing it back to you, I think could go down as one of the signings of the season. He's just a supremely talented goalkeeper. Yes, there'll be some mistakes, but all the greats made mistakes. Edison used to make mistakes. Edison had a near post problem, if that makes sense. Not every near post shot, but I saw him concede quite a few at the near post that I thought he should save. You're never going to get that perfect goalie that saves everything, never makes a mistake with his feet, commands every cross that comes into the box. But he's a net positive. There is no doubt about that at all. Dan, on this subject, though, and big up to City for winning that game. Sorry, we'll come back to that comment, Ian, from you in a moment. But big news surrounding Man United today. It's being said, Dan, that United are linked with a move to Unai Emery, that he is currently seen by some insiders as the favourite to take over should Ruben Amorim lose his job. Is that the right direction for Man United to go in if we sack Ruben Amorim or he resigns, to go for Villa's Unai Emery?
You know what? When you said that to me, when you told me that was a rumor, I didn't really know how to feel about it, because I mean I've experienced Unai Emery at Arsenal, and for me, Unai Emery, he seems like he's one of these managers that he's good at a mediocre sized team, the team just below the elite. And even though Man United, of course, they're nowhere near at the elite now, they are an elite club. So I'm not sure if it will work, but look, anything's got to be better than what you're going through now. I feel like it would definitely give the players a boost, seeing as he's a serial winner. Listen, everything at Arsenal wasn't all bad either. He did do some good things at Arsenal. But I think, look, if United are going to get Unai Emery, I do think they'll improve. That's for sure. But then again, I think most managers that come into United now would improve Manchester United. But Unai Emery, of course, he's a serial winner. He's got experience. He's now very experienced in the Premier League. So all in all, I think it would be a good move for Manchester United. Whether he could be the guy, I'm not so sure. But listen, if Man United were to get Unai Emery, it doesn't matter what I think. I think most Man United fans would be happy with that, which is interesting, because if you asked them a few years ago, they would have said no way. Same thing with Southgate. People are suddenly calling in when they would have said no way. But because of the dire situation, I think right now most Manchester United fans would be happy with Unai Emery.
It's a bit of a madness, isn't it? Like, bro, I think I'm looking at what's going on here, and I go back. The problem that I think United have got here, and United fans have, is that I don't think they have any faith in the guys above, because when United got Amorim, everybody knows what system he plays, right? So you got to go back, right? So when Ten Hag was fired, so Ten Hag's just been fired, right? He was fired mid-season, even though he should have been sacked after the FA Cup final. But he was sacked mid-season, and they've gone and got a manager that plays a completely different style of football, a completely different formation, that doesn't have the players needed to play his new system. And he was told that we also have a few financial issues. This is going to take quite a number of transfer windows before we can't just go out and do what Liverpool did and spend 400 million quid and get you everyone that you need in the first transfer window. And I just look at it and go, and this isn't, by the way, this is not hindsight. We all said it, not everybody, but most of us said it. Like, it was such a gamble to go and get Ruben Amorim. It felt like they were just looking at the new shiny toy, and that was Ruben Amorim. And they went, "Oh, look at him! He's just beaten City. Yeah, he's won a couple of trophies with Sporting Lisbon. Let's go and get him. He's the next guy." And it's like, what on earth were you thinking? You should have got. This goes back to the FA Cup final. They didn't have the minerals to sack Ten Hag after the FA Cup final because he won the tournament. Even though it was the correct thing to do, they should have got rid of him. Yeah, Tottenham did it. So Man United are a bigger club than them. They should have the minerals to make that decision. They didn't. They then sacked him midway through the season. So that season's now become a write-off. Yeah, because how many teams have a great season midway through a season? You sacked a season? Not a lot. Chelsea did it for one, but not a lot of them. Yeah, and then they went and got some manager that can play a different system. They should have got a manager who plays a fundamental 4-3-3 system. It doesn't have to be exactly the same as Ten Hag. Yeah, it can be a little bit different, like pressing and all that kind of crap. But fundamentally, it's a 4-3-3. They've now bought a load of players for Amorim, yeah, who might not fit the new manager who wants to go back to a 4-3-3. It's a complete and utter mess. And this is one of the problems United have got now, is it's all well and good us sitting here saying Amorim deserves to be fired. And absolutely 100%. The guy deserves to be fired. It's the worst manager they've had, I think, since World War I or something. Yeah, of course he deserves to be fired. But do you have the faith in the people above to make the correct decision? Yeah, and as a neutral, as an outsider, yeah, I don't back the guys to make the right decision. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think
LB,
I don't know where you go from here. Honestly,
can I stop you a second? I need to ask you a serious. I need to ask you a serious question.
Yeah, go on.
Why is it that you are more sensible than 95% of all Man United YouTubers?
Because if you're a United fan, you're emotionally attached to your football club, so you're not able to see things through the light, yeah, because you're too emotional, you're too invested. Yeah, I'm probably the same with my club. You know what I mean? Like, this is what people do when they're emotionally attached to their club. You can't be honest, and you can't say the honest things because you're blinded by emotion. This is why when the outsiders say it, yeah, you need to listen a little bit and say, "Yo, this guy might be cooking." And I'm cooking. I know I'm cooking. I said it a year ago.
You are on this, and look, you've been right about a lot of things to do with INEOS. And the only thing I don't disagree with what you've said. The only area for me was I was fine with changing direction to someone like a Ruben, but you had to buy more. And the one thing they haven't been able to do in support of Ruben is fix the culture. And that for me is becoming more apparent by the day. I am not surprised to see the stories today that the players, they don't like the system, they're not adapting to it, they prefer something else, they don't like the training, etc. And as much as this is what you get every time, boys, you'll get United fans, and your friend David's one of them, that might go, yeah, I back the players though, because I don't like it either. And the problem is though, you set a precedent. And I always look at it like it's my job. You two might come and work for me, and KJ is your line manager. You two might not like KJ. KJ's approach might not suit you, but that doesn't mean it gives you the right to not do 100% of your job. That's the way I view the world. And it's how I view employment, sport, the lot. I don't care that the players don't like what Ruben's asking them to do. I expect them to try and do it. And this is what goes on at our club, is the players will then give a little bit less than 100%. And at the highest end of the game, 5% less effort will see you lose nearly every single football match, which is what we're doing. And equally, LB, this is my whole thing about this silver bullet approach, this magic medicine, this snake oil bullshit. Sack the manager, get me Areola, get me Xavi, get me Oliver Glasner, get me whoever it is. It doesn't matter. Most Man United fans ranting, by the way, won't give a solution because they're cowards. They won't give the name of a manager because it's easier just to moan than it is to provide a solution. Most are cowards. However, we go for Areola because he's prem proven, plays nice football. Let's get him. We got no left wingers at the club, boys. Not one. So what that means is that Ahmad and Cunha are going to play out of position for the rest of the season. We still don't have a midfield. The centre-backs will then be more exposed with 2 at the back rather than 3 in the middle, which means they'll be making more mistakes than we probably see them making now. The midfield still isn't fixed. Let's go. So we go 4-3-3 so we can pack the midfield so it's a little better. Same issues with the defence, as an example. We've been buying wing-backs and training wing-backs and don't actually have any out-and-out full-backs. We still don't have anyone who plays left wing naturally. There's all these problems and imbalance still. And maybe you'll see a win percentage go up to 50% rather than 30%. Maybe it'll go to 55%. Could even go 58%. And there are United fans right now that are acting like they're okay with that. And I call bullshit, boys. Do you know why I call bullshit? It's the same win percent that Jose had, same win percent that Ollie had, same win percentage that Ten Hag had. And they wanted those fuckers out as well, didn't they? This idea that, we get back in that top 8, win some more games, I'll be patient.
It's like Arsenal. It's just like Arsenal fans now, isn't it, Terry?
It's a lie.
It's the exact same. It's the exact same with certain Arsenal fans now.
And this is what I'll do. Every YouTuber that says they're okay with it, I'll make a bet with you right now. Come on my channel now and we'll have a bet. I bet if we get to 55 to 60% win ratio and sit anywhere between 2nd and 10th in the league, and we're winning at the same rate as those previous 3 managers, I guarantee you're not okay with it after 6 months. After 6 months, you're going to be losing your mind again if we're not challenging for the league title. And if you do,
it's not everyone.
I'll make you a bet. Hang on, let me finish. I'll bet you one of my YouTube channels against yours. You can pick which one you want, that you won't be able to stay calm and patient, even if that percentage is hit. Any Man United YouTuber wants to come make that bet with me, come make it. You won't stay. If we hit that percentage, I bet for at least a year, you won't stay patient, win, lose, or draw some games. I guarantee you. And they know what I'm saying is true as well, because we've all been there. The proof's there. The facts are there. And that's the thing for me. When people keep saying, I don't know if Emery will be the one. I don't know if Areola will be the one. I don't even know what the one is anymore, boys. What is the one?
I think what United need to do now, is get in a stepping stone manager that can just take them, get the team away from the embarrassment that it is right now. Yeah, I've seen a stat. I don't know if it's true. I don't know if you've seen it. That apparently, since Amorim come to United, if you exclude the teams that got relegated, because obviously they're not here now, and you exclude the teams that got promoted because they were here last year, United at bottom of the table.
Yeah, the only top side they beat is Man City. That's the only top team he's beat. Is you lot.
Insane,
the rest of them are literally. They were reading it out the other day, and I couldn't believe it. They're all like proper bottom 5 teams that he's beaten, and then there's the one win against Man City. But I do think that a manager can definitely come in and make a big difference, regardless of the owners or anything like that. They really can. You know,
it's true, but
you have to find the right manager. That is true.
So let me ask you this question. When you say right manager, what do you mean by that?
Well, I think you're going to have the right manager that's going to make the right decisions, sign the right players.
Yes, okay, I get that. But when you say right, medium term, what does that look like? End result within 2 years, getting the right guy.
I'll give you an example. After Arsene Wenger, right? Arteta was the favourite, and he was all but nailed on to get the job. Then Unai Emery came in, and they said the interview was unbelievable, blew him away. So they had to give it to Unai Emery. That was the wrong decision. He was the wrong man. And look, we were very lucky. We got Arteta. We were patient with him. What he had on his side is obviously he won a trophy in his first season, which bought him time. Then we had COVID. Now, if it wasn't COVID and we were losing, we were 14th at Christmas. I remember it very clearly. You know, he possibly would have went. He possibly would have been gone. But obviously he got time. But exactly what Arteta did, Arteta's proof. You know, it was toxic at the Emirates. There was 20,000 fans at the Emirates going to games. You know, it was bad times. Liverpool, when Klopp went there as well, were a mess. You know, and listen.
No, but Liverpool weren't a mess. Liverpool had their stepping stone managers. People forget this. FSG had been at the club about 5 years by the time. It was 5 years. About 5, just over 5 years.
They were a bit of a mess, though, Terry.
No, they weren't. See, we forget. So they were a mess 5 years prior. Hicks and Gillette nearly put them into bankruptcy. Hicks and Gillette sold or got taken over by FSG. First thing FSG did, we need someone just to get the fans on side. And by the way, we did this partly with Ollie. We kept him too long. They got Dalglish back, did a good job, settled the fans down. The fans were never going to turn on Dalglish. Let's get them settled. Got them settled down. The next thing they did is they went to Brendan Rodgers. Brendan Rodgers, as they were building that squad, got them into title races. Then what happened is, look, he lost 2 of his best attackers. The following season weren't so great. Then they went for Klopp. They were still a work in progress, but Klopp then took over. And again, within a couple of years, we've invested in the right money. They got to a point where they were winning Champions Leagues, title challenging, winning trophies. But what Klopp was able to do, I don't think it would have been as quick if Klopp came in 2010, when they first took over. We sort of forget those 4 or 5 years before Klopp arrived of building.
For me, Terry, only
the club.
For me, only Klopp could have come in and done that, though. So they hit the jackpot by getting Klopp. He's the only guy who come in. For me, he's the only guy who could have come and done that for Liverpool. It was a match. It was a match made in heaven. It was a match made in heaven. Liverpool and Klopp. Everything about it.
I think we overestimate managers nowadays in that regard. I think we really, really overestimate. it's the way the club is. Michael Edwards was the most important part of the last decade of Liverpool Football Club and how he's run it and operated. Klopp done a fantastic job, and a massive percentage of that goes to him. But Klopp isn't the only manager, the same as Klopp wasn't the only, Slot's come in and taken over and continued that success. Arsenal fans do this a lot. The idea that no one can come in and do a better job than Mikel Arteta, I think's folly. I don't think that is true. You've got to find the right guy. I don't necessarily know who that is personally, but there are you could replace him, and you could have gone and got Slot, and you could have won the league last year. There is always a possibility that happens. There is a risk in it that you go backwards, though. And Klopp was amazing. He's a fantastic man manager, a brilliant tactician. He absolutely top coach. But Klopp would have been unsuccessful at Manchester United, no matter how good he is as a coach, because the infrastructure was there. He would have taken over. If he'd have taken over at any point when he did Liverpool, we were broken. And we haven't ever had someone as good as Richard Hughes and Edward running the club to get the infrastructure right, to build the right squads. And interestingly, with Liverpool, as soon as they got rid of those Edwards, and Klopp was given the power to control signings and more control of the club, that was when they stopped winning league titles. And they weren't a bad team, but they weren't as good as when he first arrived. And this is why I agree with what LB was what LB was saying. What Manchester United might need is that stepping stone manager. And I know a lot of United fans are like, no, we've got to maintain the high standards. We've got to bring someone in who can win the league. I think we're living in cloud cuckoo land. And you can call me low standards. I call myself realistic. You can say what...
No way. There's no way in hell we've got any chance of winning the league in the next at least 5 years minimum.
Maybe that long. We need someone that can come in and make us hard to beat, that can get... Listen, we've got a really average squad as well, and people don't like to admit it, but it's true. It's bang average. Thomas Frank would do a better job. Nuno would do a better job. Emery would do a better job with our squad than Pep Guardiola would. Because, it just, let's get Conte. Conte would quit within a month of having this squad because they're just not good enough to do what he would expect them to do. At the end of the day, some chefs, you give them shitty ingredients out your cupboard. There's only so much they can do with it. They're not going to make it at Michelin star dinner with half gone off veg, tinned vegetables and fucking shitty meat from Aldi. It's not going to work. Like, they make those beautiful meals they make in those restaurants. They're using the finest ingredients to make those meals that beautiful. There's only so much you can do. You can't, what's the expression? There's only so much you can polish a turd at the end of the day. And these elite managers, they're not right for us right now. And the proof is in the pudding. I don't even think Amorim's as bad a manager that people are making out. You don't do what you did at Sporting if you're absolutely rubbish. But he's coming to a club that wasn't ready for him. They probably haven't spent enough. The players and the culture isn't right. We do. So I'm not against the idea of Unai Emery. Do I think he's the guy that's going to make us win the Premier League? No. What you've seen him do at other giant clubs, he's never really been ready for that. I do worry a little bit about handling the pressure at United because Arsenal got to him, PSG got to him. But I look at it very much. I would prefer someone like Oliver Glasner, Nuno, Thomas Frank's already gone. A manager like that.
Kieran McKenna?
Maybe Kieran McKenna. The way we play football, that he tries to play football might work with us. He's obviously got a connection to the club. He's managing the Prem Championship. I think someone like that would be much better for us. But actually, if I'm being honest, I want someone who makes us hard to beat first rather than patterns of play and styles of play. And I get that the fans that wanted that under Ollie 7 years ago, they may have been right at that point to ask, that squad with a better manager, potentially. But we ain't got that squad anymore. We ain't got that team anymore. We are so average. We need someone that can get the best out of it. And the United fans have got to readjust. We've got champagne taste, but we've got lemonade money. And we have got to really understand what we are right now. And if we don't, and if the club listens to the fans demanding the creme de la creme today, we're going broke, we're going bust, and we are going to crash and burn. And I know you want the best for the club. I know it's coming from the right angle, but I'm sorry to say it, you are outright wrong. We need to reassess who and what we are in 2025. This is if we're to move on from Ruben Amorim, of course. And I think we need a less fashionable manager who will get the best out of this group right now. And that isn't one of the superstars for me.
Terry, it was in the group chat the other day about Eddie Howe, right? Some of the United fans were saying that we should get. I think it was Dave maybe said that someone said something about Eddie Howe in Newcastle fans. Dave said, They've said, "Oh, if we wanted to get him, we could have him." And I said, "I don't think you could. I think them days are gone. I think it would be career suicide for Eddie Howe. You know, I don't think Eddie Howe
No,
would
I
leave.
don't. Maybe.
I don't think he would leave Newcastle now for Manchester United. I
I
really
don't. Listen, I like you, Dan, but you're just doing a Roy Keane from Sky Sports. Like,
No.
but people say that, and then in the summer, everyone's saying Mbeumo wouldn't pick us over Newcastle or anyone like that.
Yeah, but players are different. Players are different.
No,
It's different with players.
I don't think it is, Dan. I don't think it is. I think that United are still attractive. Eddie Howe, for me, doesn't go into that category of player, manager, or aura of a Conte, a Pete Jose, a Pep, a Klopp. You know, that he's not in that echelon. He's not even in that same space that like the Xavis are, where because of the pedigree as a player he's got, he's looked at in a certain way. He's not in that kind of category. Would he leave? I don't think.
He's a very intelligent man.
Maybe not. What I wouldn't say is that it's like beyond the realms of possibility that Eddie Howe wouldn't be interested in the Manchester United job. What I would say, this is why he would say no to it. It would have nothing to do with Newcastle doing what they're doing versus what Man United are. It would be whether he believed in what our board are doing. So if LB's right, and he has an interview, yeah, but I think it's that is different from the way a lot of other people phrase what you do. It's like, nah, no way he joins Man United. Why? Because you're dead now. I don't think it's about being dead right now, because there is always an attraction. If you're the manager that saves Man United, the legendary status you get, like if Eddie Howe took over Man United and within 3 years, 4 years, 5 years had us winning league titles, the level of fame and accolade he'd get from that would outweigh winning 3 league titles at Newcastle, in my personal opinion, due to the size of the clubs. But it's whether or not he believes it's whether
that would be humongous.
Yeah, well, it's but you're talking about winning something with one of the greatest.
My thing. I don't think Newcastle, they're not going anywhere. I think they're only going to get better, and I think he's there, and I think he sees a vision of something special happening at that club. I think Newcastle, they're only going to get better. Right? They've got a massive fan base. They've got top players. They've backed him as well, and I just couldn't see him giving up what he's got, something so good there, to go and take such a risk at Manchester United.
Well, like I said,
you keep saying, the structure's not right.
Hang on. But like I've said, yeah, if the structure isn't right, then fair enough. But that has nothing to do with the club per se. That has to do with the people running it. If he has an interview, this is the other side of it though. If he has an interview with Manchester United, and he's like, I love what you guys are doing, Ruben Amorim's just done a bad job, I don't believe that his head wouldn't be turned. And as much as it will upset Newcastle fans to hear it, we are Manchester United. And even at this size, we're bigger and more attractive than most clubs in the world. And managers will want to be part of that. And so this is why I don't believe we're dead forever. It's about having the right direction. But look, I don't even think we're looking at Eddie Howe. So it's a little bit of a red herring, really.
Just quickly as well, yeah. Just to sort of like, let's say something, and it's going to sound like I'm cooking United because I'm a City fan. However, Terry, you did kind of say this yourself, right? So I'm just backing up what you said. United need to realise where they are in 2025. They are not one manager away from getting the Premier League title. They're not even a manager away from getting top 4. This is why I think United need to get a manager who can get them up the league table, because right now it's embarrassing for Man United where they are, yeah? Get them up that league table and get them steady, maybe 8th, maybe 7th, right? And then when the squad's better and it's built in a certain way and the club have implemented a philosophy, right, then you upgrade the manager, yeah? Because going down this route of trying to get the next Pep or the next Fergie or the next Klopp who's going to come in and he's going to turn everything around, like you say, Terry, it's the magic pill. It's not going to happen. You know, Arsenal fans are still waiting for a trophy. He's been there 7 years. Do you know what I mean? And they've got a better team now than United. So I think United going for someone like an Emery, I think would be a very astute move. Yeah, get him in 2-3 years max, and then once he's steadied the club have sorted the squad out and got it into a better position. You then, provided he's not excelling, which he probably won't, you then move him on, and then you go and get the guy to take you up to the top. But going down this road of Ollie, Amorim, these type of guys, I don't think that's the way it's going to happen. The question will be, right, and I know you've got a super chat coming in a minute who's mentioning it, does Manchester United and do the Man United fans have the patience after the last 15 years to go through this rebuild exercise because the club has been destroyed, man.
They don't have the patience, and the proof's in the pudding because none of them even know. I'll be honest with you, and I'm not actually talking about anyone, YouTuber, TikToker, Twitter account, blogger, vlogger. I don't give a fuck. Fan camera. 99.9% of them never ever speak about the root cause problems at this club, and it makes me sad. It genuinely breaks my heart because this got sent through to me earlier on today. And just think about all the people right now that just think a new manager is going to fix us. And how many of them are culpable in saying Ronaldo was the problem, De Gea was the problem, Sancho was the problem, Højlund was the problem, Rashford was the problem, Anthony was the problem, Garnacho was the problem, Onana was the problem, Ten Hag was the problem, Ragnick was the problem, Oli was the problem, Jose was the problem, Rooney was... I'll be blunt with you, generally speaking, the fans that are Silver Bullet FC are the same guys that said that, but they're noisy and they're influential. And the one thing that worries me about my club is the board have too often been swayed by the noise of the media and the noise of the noisy minority of fans. We need to persevere. Now, what that doesn't mean, because you always get the knee-jerk, ridiculous response of, you saying that Ruben doesn't need to win games then? No, I'm not saying Ruben should even stay, but it's still going to take years to fix us. What's the solution? I'm hearing people come out with the most maddest solutions in the world, ranging from bring back Jose Mourinho. Listen, if people think we haven't got a chance of getting Eddie Howe out of Newcastle, and there's some credibility to that. Personally, if I was advising Eddie Howe, I'd tell him to stay where he is.
Exactly.
You think Conte's fucking leaving Napoli? I want Conte. You think he's leaving Napoli for Man United right now? Not on your Nelly, my old mate. Like, Man United fans...
I don't know, though, Terry, but when it comes to the Premier League money and that, look, Conte, he's a smart man. He would know. You lot could give him 20 million a year.
Nah.
No, listen. He knows if he gets sacked, he walks and gets a payout.
If Eddie Howe is not leaving Newcastle, Conte ain't leaving Napoli. For me, I don't think
Conte's already made. Conte's a made man, so it doesn't really matter what happens at Man United. Eddie Howe, he's trying to earn his stripes. Right? Eddie Howe, right? Eddie Howe is trying to earn his stripes. So if he goes to Man United and he fails, it's a big gamble. Conte, he's a serial winner. He's done it all.
Exactly.
He flopped at Tottenham when he got a job at Napoli.
Yeah, exactly.
So
but
it's not going to affect him. He's just going to get a big bag of money.
That isn't the point I'm making. Conte doesn't take jobs going, I'm going to take it because I want to win there and I want to make them the biggest and best team possible. If it fails, I just get loads of money. He goes there to win. He isn't going to look at this. He is not going to look at Man United and think, I've got a chance of winning there. He ain't taking it for love nor money. Otherwise, he'd have just gone and managed in Saudi and got paid 30 million a year and wouldn't care. He still wants to win the biggest trophies in Europe. That's what he wants to do.
Very strange for him to go to Tottenham, then.
Well, but Tottenham promised him something. Tottenham made promises, and Tottenham had the money. You can see by their income. They have the money to spend and invest a lot more than they did. And they fouled him. He fell out with them and he left. That's fundamentally different. And that Tottenham experience is what will stop him joining Manchester United, because I even think we've done it to Ruben. I think we've promised him things that haven't been delivered. I think he was promised a midfield player and it wasn't delivered. And I think that will come out in the wash later on down the line. But yeah, if Eddie Howe wouldn't leave Newcastle for Man United, I can't imagine a world-class manager like Conte leaving the best team in Italy right now to join us. I can't see it myself.
I think Conte is far too controversial, though, as well.
Not this season, of course. He's trying to win another league title. But
you need someone just to knit things together, though. Conte's too argumentative. He'll rip INEOS to shreds. I think Emery's a great shout. I think Emery might have taken Villa as far as he can, anyway. Yeah, I think they need a little bit of a change, a little bit of like reinvestment, and I think get him in for a couple. It kind of reminds me of when we got Pellegrini. Yeah, we obviously City wanted Pep, right? But obviously at the time we couldn't get him, so we went and got Pellegrini. Right, we had success, by the way. We won a double in the first year, right? Got him in, did a few years, then we went and got Pep. I think you need that guy just to come in, steady the ship. Yeah, obviously you're not at where we were at when we got Pellegrini. We were ready to win a title. You're nowhere near that, but get you in that top half, get you away from constant embarrassment week after week after week. build a squad, right? Because you need a philosophy. Because United bounce around between different managers, different styles. Every new manager is a different style. Build a philosophy, and then maybe in 2028, 2029, move Emery on, and then bring in the guy that's then responsible to take Man United to a title.
Yeah, I agree.
That's what I think you should do.
Listen, I don't disagree, mate. That's exactly right. A few super chats here. Stop promising war chests, except we are below average club, especially us fans. Get a manager who improves what we have, sells dead weight, and builds his own war chest. Beggars can't be choosers. We've got to stop putting all that pressure on managers. Managers don't run clubs. Managers don't dictate transfers. Managers, again, that's another thing I hear. As soon as I hear United fans start talking about, well, Ruben Amorim bought Mbeumo, Ruben Amorim bought Doku, you don't even know how. This is what I know sounds horrible, but if you don't know how our club runs, please don't fucking talk about it. Manchester United should go for Eddie Howe. I wouldn't mind Eddie Howe. Again, I don't think our board and him are a match, and I very much look at that more to do with Dan Ashworth. If Dan Ashworth's ideas and our board's ideas and visions weren't a married job, I don't think the manager will be. Terry, as a counter view, have the players' fans lost motivation in Amorim since he hasn't won back-to-back games? When employees give their 100% and there are no results, even employees lose motivation. That's really, really fair. But I'm watching players not do their jobs properly. If players start moaning about it publicly, that's a problem, isn't it? You know, if KJ comes to me, I'll use him as an example because you know him and he works with me. If he comes to me saying, Terry, you know, I know you had a vision for the terrace and it isn't working, and I'm starting to lose faith in it. And we have a private conversation and we have a one-to-one, and you know, I promise to make changes, or I don't. It's cool. But if the first thing he does is go on and tweet about it online, there's no way he can also be giving me 100% effort every day if he's out there like doing that. So it's the actions that dictate that to me. I don't care how bad Ruben Amorim is. I don't care how bad Ollie was. I don't care how bad LVG was. The way our players behave, using their agents to speak to the press, that for me is 100% reprehensible. And every single player's agent who's done it, every player, I don't care how fucking good they are, I'd sell every single last fucking one of them, get them the right out of my club now. The messaging from the top needs to be, we're in a reset and rebuild, so stop signing 90 million strikers. Well, we didn't sign a 90 million player, we signed 70 million. So that's we've done that already. Thank you, bro. It was Carlos or Klopp in 2016 for Liverpool. Yes, it was. It was Carlo Ancelotti or Klopp. I remember that battle. And I actually remember a lot of Liverpool fans were fuming when Ancelotti said no to them. I remember a video I did about it. Not to Americanize this, but if the 76ers, Celtics, and Lakers fans can get behind a rebuild tanking process, so can Man United fans. The messaging and behavior needs to match. When you sign LeBron, your messaging, you want to win now. See, where I disagree with you is signing good players doesn't mean you're saying you want to win now. If fans are thinking that, that's their own stupid fault. If Man United are able to get Belieber in January, anyone who goes, oh, fucking winning the league now, that's not Man United's fault that person's stupid. Like, to be blunt with you, that's not Man United's fault that you're dumb. Like, I will blame the club for a lot of things. I can't blame Man United for Joe in Essex being thick. I can't blame INEOS for Johnny in New York for thinking one player solves a football club's issue. Do you know what I'm saying? I can't agree with that. What I will say is that the football club needs LB said it spot on. It needs a direction. We need to stick to it. If one head coach doesn't work, you take him out, you put a new one in, but you keep moving in a particular direction. I know me and LB had a big argument last week with Sam, who thinks that City, like Pep built City, and we're like, no, it was the other way around. But yeah, one clear direction is needed. But great super chat, my friend. Thank you. Moving on from Man United because it's depressing. I want to speak Chelsea for a moment. Obviously, they dropped points at the weekend, LB, and obviously there was a very controversial moment in the goal. But a lot of their, I was on Chelsea fan TV earlier today because I didn't really catch up with much of it the weekend. Lots of them moaning about changing of defenders. There's no continuity at the back. A lot of pundits kind of doubting them. 2 games of the 4 they've dropped points in. A few VAR decisions in the first couple of games got them their wins in many people's eyes. The Fulham game, the Palace game. Do you feel like the first couple of games are proof that Chelsea won't be in this title race, or is there a little bit of a Chelsea witch hunt going on?
Well, to answer the first question, no, they won't be in a title race. As I've said before we even kicked a ball this season, Chelsea are not good enough to be in a title race. They've been massively overrated. The transfer activity has been poor. And they've not made steps to secure an improvement in their squad going into this season. As I've said before we even kicked a ball this season, even though Chelsea fans wanted to start crying about it every time I spoke about it, they are a comfortable top 5 team all day long. Yeah, so let's just get that straight. They're not good enough to be in a title race. I've already said they'll be 15 points away from whoever wins the title. Right? They're already 4 away from Liverpool. Right? So 11 points to go. They're a good team. But the fact is, yeah, they just won the Conference League last season. They got into a top 5 and they just won the Club World Cup. That is a good year for Chelsea, right? Based off of last year, right? Obviously not good historical standards, but given where they were, given the new manager and all that kind of stuff, that was a solid year. What they needed to do this summer was go out into the market, hit the market hard, and bring in players that could elevate everybody else and bring in top-tier players. They've still got Sanchez in there, which all Chelsea fans are now trying to convince everybody and gaslight us all that he's mega. Go, oh, but he's had a good couple of months. Don't care. He's had a good couple of months. He ain't good enough. The defence ain't good enough. Yeah, the 2 fullbacks are mega. Yeah, the centre-backs are not good enough, right? But again, they just throw stats at us and say, well, we got less clean sheet. We got more clean sheets than you last year, blah, 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 blah. Right, sound. They're not good enough. Midfield's good. No problem there. The wingers are subpar. And, the strikers are young and have not proven anything at top level. So it's not good enough. It's not enough to win the league. And I said this for 4 weeks. Yeah. And all I've ever got of Chelsea fans is crying people asking why on earth I don't think they'll be in a title race. And here we are. And people are asking questions. They're not good enough. They don't have the players to win the league. They won't even have the players to be in and around the title. Right? But we'll let all this unfold and I will be proven right come the end of the season. And then next year, maybe Chelsea will realise their mistakes and go out and buy some top-tier players. They've just spent, right, nearly 100 million quid on Gittins and Garnacho combined. What is all that about? Why don't you just go and buy a proper winger who's actually elite level winger instead of buying these two players that nobody knows if they're going to be good enough for? I just think it's wild, man. And I find it even more wild that the Chelsea fans are try to convince themselves that they're actually this mega team. They're not. They're a good team, top 5 comfortably. They'll be nowhere near the title. And I've said it before we even kicked a ball. And I'm actually stunned how much Chelsea fans argued with me at the start of the season. But I will be proven right. I will be proven right, 100%. And they're already 4 points behind Liverpool. And I said 15 by the end of the season. So 11 to go. We'll see how. Maybe that might be done by Christmas. Who knows?
Well, what are you saying, Dan? I mean, obviously they dropped points in 2 of their opening 4 games. They play Bayern Munich this week, which is a big test, and they go away to Manchester United. How do you see them getting on in the next couple of games, especially away to Bayern Munich? Because obviously they had a brilliant time at the Club World Cup by winning it, but a lot of people are saying, listen, the Champions League is really going to test. It's tomorrow night, not tonight, of course, but away at Bayern Munich, how do you see Chelsea getting on?
I wouldn't be surprised if they got a result away at Bayern Munich. If you had to ask me who's going to win the game, I'd say Bayern Munich. But would it surprise me if Chelsea would have got a draw or a win? Even a win? A win may surprise me a little bit. But with Chelsea, again, it's the exact same thing. I was on Straight Facts with LB and I said the exact same thing. I said it to Dom when I was on Straight Facts. Arsenal will finish 15 points above Chelsea. And every Chelsea fan's first thing is, oh, but when did you last win the league? When did you last win the league? Well, listen, when did Chelsea last win the league? No team out of nowhere, apart from Leicester, just is not involved in the title race and then comes and wins the league. It just doesn't happen. It does not happen. So this is how Chelsea season's going to go. They're going to draw, they're going to win, then they're going to draw. Then they might lose one, then they might win 2 or 3. Like LB said, comfortable top 5. I'll predict them to finish 4th. I think City will be 3rd. Then it's going to be between Arsenal and Liverpool for the title. And I don't see why Chelsea fans, because they won a Club World Cup, which, come on, like, look at the route to the final. I think that got them a bit too overly excited. And before Chelsea fans come at me, I know you've had good recent history and all of that, but it doesn't mean nothing for this season. this season, Chelsea will be in a top 4, top 5 race. They could be comfortable, but Newcastle will be in that race as well. So that they could be battling for top 4 or top 5. Big games. Look, they've got you lot next, right? Is it at Old Trafford?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I fancy them to win that, to be fair. But yeah, I mean, Chelsea. Look, I think they could go. They could actually go. They'll have more of a chance in the Champions League than the Premier League. I don't think they'll win the Champions League, but I think they could possibly go to the quarters or the semi-finals. But yeah, being in the Premier League title race, just no chance. But look, they haven't lost yet. At the end of the day, they haven't lost, but they're gonna play big games. They will lose. They will lose in the big games. That's for sure against the bigger sides.
You know what it is as well, bro? They are completely ignoring the fact that in the Conference League group phase, they left Caicedo and Palmer at home.
Exactly.
For the whole phase. Whereas now, Caicedo and Palmer are going to be playing in the Champions Leagues, which are also harder games as well. So not only are they harder games where you have to put more effort into it and more mental energy, you also got to play Palmer and Caicedo again. They're just
and the injuries are catching up with him now as well. Yeah, because they haven't had a break. They've not had a break. So there'll be a time. Do you remember last season when they were in the title race and then they didn't win a game after Maresca said they weren't? They didn't win a game for about 7 games in a row. They'll have that this season. They'll have that. They'll hit the red zone because they've not had a break. And like you said, when sometimes there was a winger who came on the other day and I thought I know my football. And I went, who's this guy? I don't even know who he is. I didn't even know who was coming on. It's like they're just signing players for the sake of it. They're obviously, it's a model. It's a business model now, isn't it, with Chelsea? So is that going to win you the Premier League? Signing players below 27 with a resale value. They bought Garnacho hoping that one day he might come good. And they bought him for 40 and they can sell him for 80. I don't think you're going to win a Premier League like that. I don't think it's not realistic to just buy these players. Look, they've not got one player over 27, I don't think. So,
LB, how do you think they'll get on against Bayern Munich? How do you think that game will go away in Germany?
I mean, they've got a chance. I mean, Bayern Munich are not the same Bayern Munich as they were 10, 15 years ago, right? Obviously, they're nowhere near as strong. However, you know, they've still got ballers, Kane, Elise, obviously Musiala's out injured. I'll probably slightly favour Bayern for this one, to be honest with you. Yeah, but they've got a chance. Like I always say, I don't think Chelsea are terrible. I've never said they're terrible. I think they're top 5 team comfy. I think they're a good side. But anyone that thinks they're in a title race is delusional. No way. Yeah, so I think Bayern just, but it wouldn't surprise me if Chelsea went there and got a result. Yeah, they're a good side.
Yeah, I'm intrigued by it. It's one of those weird things. I was just watching Chelsea fan cams, and I know it's not a representation of every single Chelsea supporter. I wouldn't make that claim. But there was just an interesting anger to even on my own match reaction show. Most of the Chelsea fans that were angry, they didn't care about the goal. Because again, let's be blunt, Brentford's goal shouldn't have stood. It was clearly offside. It wasn't a real goal. But they didn't want to talk about it. They were like, no, accountability, we need to win. A lot of the fan cams I listened to, there was anger. I do worry in the sense of, you know, Bayern beat them this week and they don't get a result against United. I think they beat Man United personally. But let me step outside of my own opinion for a moment. United, after the way we've been, actually beat them and they lose to Bayern Munich. Suddenly then, and I think fan bases have an influence on their team when they're losing their minds. It's going to be interesting to see what the reaction to that will be. But go the other way, beat Bayern Munich, beat Manchester United, and maybe it keeps a few people quiet. This here from I'm K Rose says, Chelsea is just a spicy Brighton. Tony here says, I firmly believe Chelsea signed players below the elite level, so expectations remained lower for now. They are focused on profit to reinvest in 2 years. Do you find it interesting still, LB, that even though they've spent more money basically in the last 4 years, then they've eclipsed the entire spending of Pep? Yeah. Do you think it's interesting that there still isn't the same expectation from the media, from their own fans, from rivals on them as there is Pep and City? It's, you know, Pep and City, Liverpool, and of course Arsenal.
Weird, isn't it? Very weird. Yeah, I mean, this with the amount of money they've spent, these guys should be aiming to win it all. Yeah, but they needed to adapt the transfer strategy, man. You know what I mean? You can't have the same transfer strategy throughout your entire club's history. You know what I mean? When you're on top, you're dominating. You'll be, you want to stay on the top, right? You need to change up strategy. And Chelsea this summer, yeah, I'm checking it now, right? They spent 328 million euros.
Wow.
And they didn't sign one player, yeah, who I'd consider like even close to world-class level right now. Not even even close to world-class. How you spend 328 million euros, mate, and not even get a player that's close to being a world-class player? Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, they should have been buying proven players, mate, that can complement the young players. Yeah, but they've not. They've gone and carried on the strategy, which is why they won't win the Premier League. So, yeah, it's wild, mate. I can't believe it. Like there needs to be a lot more conversation about Chelsea. Do you know what I mean? And you know what? There are some Chelsea fans out there who are kicking off, and I think rightly so, because I think what they're doing is absolutely ridiculous. But maybe because they won a trophy, they won 2 trophies, got top 4, they think it's working. And I said it's working, but you have to change strategy. You can't just do the same thing every single year. City this year had to do different things to what we did last year. You have to change it up. And Chelsea haven't changed it up. They continued, which is why they.
I think it was the Club World Cup. That's what changed a lot of their minds. The Club World Cup it's painted a picture that's not real. That's what it's done, because the Club World Cup, they suddenly just thought, you know what, we're the best team in the world. We beat PSG 3-0. When, come on, like the conference, they were never going to get too excited about that, because it's competition they shouldn't have even been in, right? So winning the conference, you can't boast to an Arsenal fan or a City fan about winning the conference. When we wouldn't want to be in a competition. But I think they won the Club World Cup, and that was it. Their expectations got so high. They've obviously beat PSG. And listen, if that's any of us and you slap PSG, who just won 6 trophies, 3-0 in the final, you're going to get a bit excited. But I mean, they were never going to kick on the way they thought they were going to kick on.
You know what they do though, right? They go, oh, you're just salty that we won the Club World Cup and Conference League. Right. First of all, my team wasn't in the Conference League, right?
Exactly.
Second of all, everybody knew Chelsea were in that Conference League before the Conference League had even begun, right? I can say, well done, Chelsea. You won the Conference League and win the Club World Cup. I can say, well done, honestly, not being patronising, say that's decent. You've done well there. And at the same time, say you're still nowhere near the Premier League. You need to invest properly this summer. And that's what I've been saying, but they don't like it. They got Chalobah at the back, Tosin at the back. Yeah, they've got these guys on the wing, man. Garnacho and Gittins and these guys. And you think I'm going to say you're in a title race when Liverpool have got Salah. They got Isak, they got Wirtz, they got Ekatike, they got these guys. I meant to say, I mean, Gittins and Tosin and this.
Spicy Brighton, that was a good comment. Spicy Brighton.
When you said there was no world class players, James here says João Pedro.
It's not world class, man. What are we doing here, man? This is what I'm talking about.
Come on, man.
Are you trying to rage bait me, man?
Come on.
Honestly, man, I got high blood pressure, man. What are you trying to do here? Serious, João Pedro, world class. Oh my god, seriously, are we doing this? That's got to be rage bait. Has to be rage bait.
No, he's probably just about 12.
Madness.
Sorry, I'm just messaging someone back who's asked me a question. Let's have a look at some more of these comments here. Keep Chelsea's name out of your filthy mouths. You respect the world champions. Good boys is what Miles says here.
Sound. Big up to you, man. You'll be 15 points away from the title. And then you come back next year and send me another $5. Good boy. Yeah, come on.
SK says, LB, you are a hater of Chelsea. You have strong energy.
I don't hate Chelsea.
It's just spitting facts. I'll say it all the time. They're not going to be in the title race, and they get offended by it. That's just my honest truth. I don't think you'll be in the title race.
It's madness. It's a madness, bro. I actually think, you are. Yeah, if you're a Chelsea fan, bro, I think you're not good for Chelsea, innit? Because you're basically accepting of this. Your club spent 328 million euros. Go and have a look who you've signed.
That is mad. That is crazy.
It's a madness. Yeah, and you're trying to get onto me for calling that out when you've already dropped points in 2 of the first 4 games, man. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's crazy, bro. I don't get why I'm getting so much heat off Chelsea fans when all I'm actually saying is you should be buying better players. Like, surely that's a good thing, no? I'm saying Chelsea should be buying better players, getting world-class players. Yet they're giving me crap. What? And then they try to tell me and gaslight me that João Pedro's a world-class player. How am I getting crap off Chelsea fans for saying you shouldn't be signing players like Gittins? You should be going and getting world-class players. And they're giving me stick, bro. This is what I'm talking about, man. It's madness. It's crazy. Anyway, I said I'll be right at the end of the season. Make sure you all come back for the end of season finale. Yeah. Well, I'm going to cook Chelsea. We're going to do a 2-hour special on a Chelsea cook sesh. And every single one of you guys who's in the chat saying I'm wrong, yeah, you can all come in and tell me I'm right. And you can type it in the chat 15 times because you're going to be 15 points away from the title winners, man. Guaranteed facts.
Minimum.
And if not happen, then you'll never see me again.
Tony's back again and says, "Hang on, LB. Who did Chelsea sign? Who did City sign that's world class or close to world class for their 424 million euros spent?"
Donnarumma. Next question.
You agree with that?
There we go. Next question.
You can't like argue with that. As in, you can't argue with Donnarumma. Let us know in the chat. Let us know in the chat. Presley here says, this guy loves to rant about Chelsea. Hater.
Yeah, it's funny because all you Chelsea fans think you're mega. And when you finish 15 points off the title, you'll all be in here apologizing to me, man.
Don here says, here we go. 2 seconds in, I can see LB's veins popping out his head. Chelsea again. Lickle win against those bozos. You better beat those bozos, Don, because I know you'll cry. And your voice is back again. Shameless.
This is the Chelsea section, and I'm just repeating what I've said for the last 4 weeks on Chelsea, and I'm right. You're already 4 points behind the title challenges. I said 15. Let's see where you are. Yeah, see where you are, man. I see this guy's the #1 Sanchez protector, by the way. Yeah, I watched this geezer's match review.
He said he was better than Donnarumma.
Yeah, better than Donnarumma. Oh, chat. Remember that guy who hijacked? Who was that guy that hijacked the show last week, Terry, or the week before?
That was David and Ches. Yeah.
Yeah, Ches, and he said that Sanchez is better, yeah, than Donnarumma.
Crazy stuff, absolutely crazy.
Don in his match review, talking about the game at the weekend, protecting Sanchez and that, saying, "Don't get onto Sanchez." Yeah, I don't know if Don's mate. Is it Don? He's mate. Don
and Ches in our group chats. They message together, like they agree on everything all the time. You remember that meme of those two guys, those two brothers, like we come in twos. Remember those two that went viral years ago, beating their chest? That's them two. They're great guys. Hang on. Tony's come back saying, so Donnarumma from 24 million. Nice one, LB.
I think Reinders was a top signing, though. He was one of the best players in Serie A last year.
He's mega as well, bro. I don't know what you're talking about. Cherky is a top player as well. Marmouche. Like, what are we doing here? We can have these conversations, yeah. We can all have a push and a shove, yeah. But I got Marmouche and Donnarumma. That's 2 straight away. We can argue more. So there we go. Marmouche is world class. There you go.
No, I don't know about that. I wouldn't say Marmouche is not world class.
Marmouche, mate. What are you on about? He left
world class.
Bro, he left the Bundesliga. Yeah, the Bundesliga in January and came second in the Bundesliga top scorers, bro. What are we doing here? He left in January.
Mamouche is not world class, man. No way in hell. He doesn't even start every game for him. World class.
Serious.
World class. So he'd get into most teams in the world. Mamouche.
Bro, he's a world class player, man. What are you talking about? Have you seen this guy's numbers? His numbers are ridiculous.
What numbers? How many Premier League goals has he got?
This season, he's only played 4 games.
Yeah, and how many's he got? 0.
I think he's got. Well, I don't know how many he's got. Bro, he's got 4 games in the season.
Well, how many did he get last season?
I think he got like 9.
What? He's world class. Mamouche is world class.
Bro, he joined in January, bro. What are we doing here?
He's not a world class signing, though. No way is
Bro,
Mamouche
do you want to get his numbers up? I'll get his numbers up, man. Let's talk about the
get his numbers up. Yeah? There's no way in hell Mamouche is world class.
I'll get his numbers up, man.
Not in any
year, 28 goals, 17 assists in all competitions. That's just for clubs, by the way. That's not including Germany. Not Germany. That's not including Egypt. 28 and 17. Year before that, 17. For City last year, he got 7
league goals.
7 league goals in 1,000 minutes. That's solid, bro. In his first 6 months when City.
Yeah, but listen, if he was world class, he'd be the first name on the team sheet, wouldn't he? Haaland's world class. That's world class.
Bro, he will be. He's injured.
I'm not saying he won't. I'm not saying he won't be world class, but you can't say Mamouche is a world class player right now.
Well, he's close to world class. think he's world class. You think he's close.
He's a top signing. I'm not saying he's not, but to say he's world class. Come on, man.
Would Marmoush, if Chelsea signed Marmoush this summer, would he have been their best signing this year?
Probably would have, yeah, to be fair.
Yeah, there we go then. Right, so there we go. Next question again.
But he's not world class though.
But he's close to world class. It was even worse for Chelsea because I said they've not even signed anyone that's world class. They've not even signed anyone that's close to world class.
No, they haven't. There
you go.
I can see your energy increase. That's obviously to him.
It's funny. I enjoy this section of the show. It's my favorite section because every week, there's a Chelsea fan in the chat that realizes I'm right. And by the end of the season, I'm going to convert every Chelsea fan in the chat, to my way of thinking. And
listen, Chelsea fans won't have it. They used to win it. They will not have it.
They're going to have to because I've set out the metrics that they're going to be 15 points away from whoever wins the title. So by every week that Chelsea drop points, every week I'm going to convert at least one Chelsea fan, and they're going to have to go through that horrible situation where they're going to have to go, oh, damn, LB's right. I don't like it. And that's where we're at. They know.
It's funny you said 15 points because I said the exact same thing to Don on Straight Facts. We were getting into it. I said Arsenal will finish 15 points above you. And he said he thinks he thought they would finish above Arsenal.
I think there's a lot on this debate. Like, I think Chelsea will be a little bit closer than you boys think, if I'm being honest with you. That being said, it's such an interesting debate this year because I see what a lot of Chelsea fans have done. They do the whole midfield's better. We've got the attackers slagging off Arsenal as an example, but then don't care about the conversation of finishing above them. But I do think it matters if you're also making a point that you're better than them. You can't say you're better than someone and then have
attack ain't better than ours, no way.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's that's almost a buy to buy in the sense of I can't sit here and be like, oh, my squad's better than City's. My team's better than City's. You're going to finish above them. Why does that matter? Well, it matters massively if you're having a conversation about being better than somebody. So, yeah, I mean, they do finish 15 or so points behind Arsenal. That conversation's over, isn't it? Tony's back saying Mamouche, low, LB, shaved his head and lost his head.
Well, the point is they've not signed a single player this window that's even close to being world class. Not even close. Now, I'd argue a guy that scored 27 goals and 17 assists in a single season in which he actually moved clubs halfway through, that is close to being world class. So whether you think he's world class or not, he's closer to being world class than any Chelsea player that they've signed this summer. That's the point.
I hear that. Moving on slightly from this, the Arsenal lineup has just come out for their first Champions League game of the campaign. And it's as you were on Saturday, barring Declan Rice starting over Odegaard, but it's exactly the same. Moreno starts, Moreno, Zubimendi, Rice in the middle, Eze, Gyökeres, Madueke up front, Timber, Mosquera, Gabriel, Calafiori, Raya in goal. So very, very strong from Arsenal. And one player I suppose I want to start on, Dan, is, I mean, he's had a glow up. It looks like, you know, he's gone Turkey, he's had the hair transplant, the teeth done, been gym. But who is this Noni Madueke that you signed?
Well, look, Madueke, I was one straight away. When we signed him, I said, look, he's not someone I would, if you had a list of 50 players, I wouldn't have said go and get Madueke, right? But when we signed him, I understood it because you had the same Arsenal fans that were sitting there and going, Saka, Arteta's running him into the ground. That's all he does is run him into the ground. He plays Saka every game. And the alternative was Raheem Sterling, right? So that's why Saka was playing every game. And then we went and signed Noni Madueke. And I actually did a video welcoming to the club. And I said, everyone's got to get behind him now. But what I will say is that I think he's been good, but I don't think he's been nowhere near as good as people was making out. Some Arsenal fans are saying to me, oh, do you think Saka will get back into the team? My dad looked at me and went, oh, I'll tell you what, babe, Saka's going to have a little bit of a problem here with Madueke. I said, no, he ain't.
What did your dad? What did he say?
He's Irish, my dad.
Oh, my son's Irish. That's why I heard he did the accent, and I was like, oh.
I tell you what here, babe, that Madueke, babe, Saka's going to have a big problem. I was like, Dad, he's not going to have a big. Are you people forgetting what Saka's about? You know, Madueke, listen, he's doing really well going down the wing and getting at players, but he needs to improve still his final end product. And that's what all Chelsea fans said that to me. They said to me that he's good at taking on players, but he doesn't. his end product's not the best. And look, he's not got an assist or a goal yet. There was a few times where I feel like he could have given it to Gyökeres quicker. But look, he was excellent, in particular in the last game. And I think it's going to be a decent signing. As for the glow up and all of that, I didn't realize he'd had the old hair transplant and that. But yeah,
No, that's a joke. That's a joke. That's a joke.
Oh yeah.
It's a joke.
No, but he's definitely had the teeth done.
He may have done. But look, since he's been at Arsenal, maybe I'll do this in my son's accent. So my son's Northern Irish, so he's got like so he's like daddy.
Oh yeah, I know that one. Yeah.
That's why I saw a video earlier on today. Me and Goldbridge reacted to it of a guy from, I assume he's from Belfast, but I'll show it to you boys later. But since he's been at Arsenal, his chance creation has almost doubled. His more take-ons, more duels being won. He's actually taking less shots at Arsenal, but he's more creative. And even sort of passes sort of into the final third, box entries, everything has been up. Yes, there isn't GA yet. Yes, there isn't output. That being said, it's not his fault teammates have missed the chances that he's created. I think he's done an excellent job so far, LB. Considering this, I have to say, I called out this signing and said, what is this trash? He started quite well, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I mean, he's coming in and to be honest with you, the way that Arsenal fans sort of like reacted to the signing, it was low key. It was probably a good thing for him because the standards were on the floor. Do you know what I mean? So like, it gave him the platform to, if he put in a good performance, everyone would have been like, oh, fair enough. He's not even that bad, but he has been playing better than good. He's obviously nowhere near Saka. Let's just be honest.
Be blunt, yeah.
Like Saka's clear. Like that's just the facts. But he's a good player that can step in for Saka. You know what I mean? Because we've spoke about Saka and over the last 2 or 3 years, saying that Arsenal are going to ruin this guy because of how much they're playing him, and they need to get someone that can step in there. And obviously, they signed Sterling on loan last year. That was a disaster. So I think they finally got a player that they can actually rest Saka in a couple of games. And play Madueke, and they can maybe play him on the left if they need him to. So yeah, I mean, listen, it's a weird one. It's like, it's a good signing. It's a good signing, but he won't be anywhere near Saka. Saka's clear of him. But yeah, good signing that can step in and do a job when Saka's injured. Which he's starting to pick up a few injuries now. Did he have one last year? Did he have a hamstring last year?
This is what I'm hoping. I hope this theory is wrong, that the Arsenal medical staff or whoever have come to Arteta and said, look, this could be a reoccurring thing with Saka. So get someone in, because he might not be playing. Maybe he's not going to be able to play 40 games a season.
Do you know what I find interesting? I read the chat. The amount of man I see in the chat that every time a player like Bruno is discussed, they go, GA's not everything. GA's not everything. Now they're like, well, Noni Madueke's got no GA, so it's shit. I love people like that. Like they flip between the two. It's crazy. How do we see Arsenal doing? We'll start with tonight, LB. How do you see Arsenal getting on tonight away against Bilbao? But overall in Europe, maybe one of the best opportunities they've ever had of winning the Champions League. Because if we're honest, I know teams can improve throughout the course of the season, but there may only be genuinely 2 or 3 teams that are actually better than Arsenal in the whole of Europe as of right now.
Yeah, no, I've said since the start of the season, I think they've probably got a better chance of winning the Champions League than they have the Premier League. I don't think they've got the firepower up top to go and win the Premier League, but the Champions League, I think it's much more about nicking it and having a solid defense, which Arsenal have. Definitely the best defense in the league. Maybe it's up there in Europe. So yeah, I still think it would have been good for Arsenal if they could have signed a few more players that have won trophies, like more silverware. Obviously, they've got Gyökeres, who's won, the league with Sporting Lisbon and that, and Zubimendi's won stuff with Spain. But talking about like, thanks for bringing that one up. Nah, but you know what I mean. I think for me, I was looking for Arsenal to sign like a Rodrigo, someone who's won stuff, like regular stuff, so they could really go and do it. But they've got a good chance. Listen, Arsenal are a good side, man. They're a very, very good side. I think they're going to be competing. They'll be up there for the Premier League. They'll go far in the Champions League. I don't know. I just look at it and I just still think they're missing one piece of the jigsaw. I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's a manager, whether they need like a Rodrigo superstar up there. I don't know. They'll be close. But they've been close for the last 3 years and they've not won anything. So, Have they got enough in the team right now to finally get them across the line? I don't know. We'll wait and see, man. But Arsenal are a good side. They'll be there or thereabouts, man, for sure.
What are you saying, Dan? I know you're predicting yourselves to win the league, but how do you see your European quest going?
Well, with the Champions League, it's totally different. I've always maintained this. I could never put my neck out and say we're going to win the Champions League. For one, we've never won the Champions League, and for two, like LB said, it's whoever's better on the day in the Champions League. Of course, you need to be consistent, but you could have one bad day at the office and you're out. You could have one bad 15 minutes of football and you're out. You're gone. So, and you're playing against the very best. Do I think we've got a massive chance to win the Champions League? Of course. Like we were saying before off there, we're third favourites to win it. We're 6-1 with the bookies, joint with Barcelona. So that's for a reason. I feel like we've now got a squad to go that one step further. Arteta got us back in the Champions League. It was the quarterfinals. Then it was the semi-finals. I'm hoping this year is going to be the final. Can we win it? Yes. Will we? I'm not sure. I look at Barcelona and PSG, and I think they are the marker that we need to get to.
No, I agree with that. As a comment says, Terry, how do you see him as the top 2 or 3? Well, look, I'll be honest with you. So again, in terms of winning it, PSG are probably better, but only one team in Champions League history. Forget the European Cup, completely different format. Only one team in Champions League history. Only one team since 1990 has gone back to back, and that was Real Madrid when they did a three-peat. So it doesn't really matter how good PSG are. On the balance of probability, they're unlikely to win it 2 years running. So although you might put them above a lot of teams, I'm actually putting them below Liverpool, below Barcelona, and below Arsenal, because the likelihood of them winning it 2 years running is actually so low. There's been more teams have won it for the first time in the last 40, 50 years than have retained it. So just on history and just on that, equally, I think City, listen, we'll see how City go out throughout the course of the season, but genuinely...
City 12-1. Big price for City, 12-1, LB.
But that's because of City's last 12 months. But City could improve throughout the season and everyone's minds can change. But I don't think anybody, if they're really putting money on it in terms of who they really think is going to win, you're only really looking at Liverpool, PSG, Barca, Arsenal. Who else genuinely are people putting their money on and really believing they're going to win it? I can't. Maybe I'm being disrespectful. You could have a dark horse in there, a Napoli, but again, Conte's record in Europe, I don't think much of it. Bayern Munich, are they really on the level of those 4 teams over 2 legs?
Vincent Kompany going to win the Champions League?
I mean, they could. Look, they're outsiders.
Of course they could.
But they're not. Like, for me, they're the 4 main teams.
How come you sat there then and said
Real Madrid as well? Sorry, Real Madrid.
How come you're crapping on Vincent Kompany yet you'll say, "Oh, Arsenal could win it"?
No, Arteta's been here for 6-7 years and built a whole squad in his own image.
And won 1 FA Cup, and that's it. And since he's won,
he was in the Champions League semi-final last year. So
and what? He didn't win it, though, did he?
No, he didn't win it. But what that means, he can get to the final. He could go one step further, and then when you're in the final, it's a 50-50, isn't it?
Yeah, but but it's just a bit mad how you're.
No, I just don't think Vincent Kompany's gonna in his second season win the Champions League with Bayern Munich. Arteta in his 6th or 7th season with Arsenal, his 3rd season in the Champions League, I think he's got a chance of winning it. And I think Arsenal are stronger than Bayern Munich. And we played them at home, and I think this is when Bayern Munich are going to get their whooping, because their whooping's been coming. They tried to tweet again, "Oh yeah, hello Arsenal. When you come to the Emirates, we're going to smoke them like we smoked City 5-1. Yeah, because you lot was due a whooping and you got it. But we're going to give them a whooping."
That was your trophy parade, wasn't it, last year? We beat City 5-1.
No, Real Madrid was the trophy parade. Real Madrid was the trophy.
Oh, yeah, you beat Real Madrid, didn't you? Yeah. They were very happy about that. We was.
This here says, Terry will hype up anything. Go look at Portuguese league-winning managers since 2000. None of them succeeded, bar Jose outside of Portugal. Hired mid, get mid. And look, it's not about hyping up anything. I'm just my way of living, my way of being. I'm always going to look for the positive side of things as opposed to the negative. It's the way I view my life. It's the way I bring my children up. It's the way I run my businesses. It's the way I treat my friends. If someone's got something bad going on in their life, I'll always look for the the positive side or the lighter side of things, because that's how I do stuff. There's always the risk it goes wrong. And this is my issue with, I always appreciate the super chats, but you often misrepresent me. Oh, it's going to be a camera there, bro. What's it going to show us? It just started moving. This is where, and I appreciate the super chats, but you misrepresent me a hell of a lot, because what I've also said at the hiring of our last 5 managers, and you must have watched it because you remember certain things I say and not others, which is that if cultures aren't fixed, if structures aren't fixed, if the recruitment remains poor, the manager will also fail. That doesn't mean the manager hasn't made mistakes. So I do cover a lot of bases because I'm very balanced in my analysis. What I don't do is have T-shirts made that say Man United champions 25-26 season, watch this space, my manager, my guy, we're cooking, we're fixed, silver bullet stuff. I don't do that. So I don't know whether you're actually calling out the Man United fans that do that online. And there are some, especially on TikTok. But for me, it's not a true representation of what it is I said. However, were there things to be excited about? The prospect of Amorim introducing, yes. And I think if we start looking at football and we take away, I get called out a lot for if, buts, and maybes, but the irony is a lot of people, you just done a but there, but you haven't put the word in, but you've gone, but go look at the Portuguese managers from back then. Everybody uses it when they want to. Imagine we take out hope and excitement, potential out of the game. Oh, we could win tonight. Imagine if you look at every game as, don't know if we're going to win, so I'm not excited. Yeah, we just scored, but I don't know if we'll see the game through, so no point celebrating. If we take your logic of never getting excited, never being hopeful, never looking at what could be, I think you kill 80% of football. So for me, I'm going to keep looking at it the way I do, because without that, football dies. Thanks for the super chat, though. At the start of the season, I said Spurs will finish above Chelsea. Terry will remember, and all Chelsea fans were laughing. By the end, I will be laughing, is what Zane Shah says here. Look, Spurs have got an out. What have you boys made of Spurs so far this season?
I think Spurs have been pretty good, to be fair. They've lost one game and they've won the other 3. They've been scoring goals. And look, Thomas Frank, he's a good manager. You know, you said it before, best said Terry. You said, look what he done with Brentford. He's going to play the same system, but with better players. So I think Tottenham will be all right this season. I think they could challenge for the top 6. Champions League, I think they will struggle in the Champions League. Can they get through? I think they maybe can get through the playoffs, but I don't see them going any further than the knockout stage.
Fair. They've got quite an easy run in the Champions League. Not easy, but they're not really playing many of the big boys. They've got decent teams. I said Liverpool would win the league by 15 points from Man City, Arsenal, Spurs, and Chelsea fighting City for second. Arteta trophyless again.
I agree, Ola Kunle, that whoever wins a title will be 15 points ahead of Chelsea, bro. So,
so Arsenal are going to be 15 points ahead of Chelsea. Yeah, lovely.
There we go.
Maybe.
Look, prediction for tonight, Dan. How do you think you'll get on the way against Bilbao? Remember, Man United, is what we won there 3-0. Just want to put that into perspective.
You know what? Everyone says that to me. Everyone who's asked me about it, they all say Man United beating 3-0. I watched Arsenal beating 3-0 in the Emirates Cup as well. I'm going for a 2-0 Arsenal win. Professional job, Gyökeres and Declan Rice to get the goals.
How about yourself, LB?
Yeah, I think Arsenal will win. I'm going to go for a 2-0 win. 2-0 Arsenal.
2-0 win. And what other English? Spurs play tonight, home Villarreal. They should get that done. They should win that game.
They need to be winning that, really.
Yeah, they do. No doubt. And who's City's opening game against? You play Thursday, right? Oh, that's a nice one.
Tasty one.
That's a nice one Thursday. I'm looking forward to that. And Chelsea Bayern Munich tomorrow night. I'm liking that too. And Liverpool after. Listen, nice. I love the Champions League last year. I'm so excited for it this season. It's going to be great.
I think the new format's class, man. I think it's really.
Yeah, so do I. I do as well. Do you know what?
Format was boring, man.
City playing against Napoli, a Conte side, on a Thursday night, and then having to come to the Emirates 2 days later. I think that's going to be good for Arsenal for sure.
Yeah, we're going to have to rotate a little bit against Napoli, man. We can't play the same players, otherwise we'll get cooked in it.
Well, I'm being called out again here. It says, you never said United is fixed. You predicted to add 40 goals and finishing in Europe after finishing 15th. Already delusional enough from you, Terry. Now, what I said is I expected when you dropped £200 million on a new attack, I expected between 30 to 40 more goals is what I said I expect. and I demand that because that's a standard. I think when you invest that much in an attack, and we should have done it. Equally, I said we should challenge for the European positions if we're scoring that amount of goals. If the players fail on doing that, I'm going to hold them to account and say they haven't been good enough. But you can't be dropping. I don't think if any club spends £200 million on 3 new attackers, you should be expecting 30 more goals. For me, that isn't delusional. That's an expectation that should come with spending that amount of money on new attackers. It's simple. Arsenal can't sign Gyökeres and Eze and then say, yeah, we're okay with the same amount of goals from open play as the last season. No, you need more. You need more winning goals. You need more from open play. So if you think that's delusional to expect more with money spent, fair play to you. I expect that moving forward. You don't expect like more from Liverpool this year after spending 400 million. You guys don't. None of you agreed with the Chelsea segment or the City segment that after spending money, their team shouldn't improve. But only with Man United is it we should spend money and not expect an improvement. How does that make any sense? Come on now. Donna's prophecy. Oh, Donna Cullen's back. Donna's prophecy. Spurs to win the Champions League. Oh, can you imagine? I would love to see Arsenal fans' reaction if Spurs won it before you. It'd be funny. It would be funny. Look, I want to thank everyone who has tuned in to the show. I appreciate it massively. Do me a big favor and hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribing as well. We're back live after Arsenal versus Bilbao for a full fan highlight show. So we will see you then. This is going to take you through to Hussam and Mo's channel. So go and support them over there. They're live up until the kickoff of the Arsenal game. Oh, Mr. LB. Right. It will do. It will do better than City and Arsenal. Oh. There we go. Look. Thank you all very much for tuning in. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again very, very soon. Peace.